Hello everyone, it's been a while, I know, but that's because I've been doing some things IRL. But anyway, I'm back now, and I had to get a video out for y'all. So, today, we're going to be ranking TDX towers, and we're going to be going off of 3 categories. How useful it is, in general, then we're going to be doing how useful it is in on the game modes, and is it good? Like, would you use it today if you have every tower? So let's get into it. First of all, we got Ranger. Ranger, very nice. He can be used in easy mode and can win solo in easy mode. Kinda gets outshined in every other mode, but he's a good stun bait at least. So that's why we're going to be putting him in C tier. Now, Sniper. Sniper, very good tower, but it's very underwhelming. It can really be used just to de-hit him. That's the only purpose I see bringing Sniper. So, if you don't have Laser Gunner, or you don't have a bottom path max to worship, like me, then Sniper's your best bet for de-hitting him, which is why I'm going to be putting him in B tier. Now, Shotgunner's a solid speedrunning tower, and he also got buffed recently with those 2 abilities, which are nice. So honestly, I'm gonna be putting Shotgunner in B tier. He's pretty decent. He's good for speedrunning, and he can be used later in the game via the 2 buffs he got. Now, Mine Lair going in B tier. Here's why. He's a cheap stun bait, which is nice. But he can't really be used only. If you wanted a solo, you can't really do that with Mine Lair. He's more of, if someone's carrying you, for example, you have someone maxed out or good at the game, but you don't have much, it's overall good to bring Mine Lair, because let's say the player leaks, you can deny those leaks via Mine Lair. Now, which path is better? It's biased, but I would say bottom path, because it can destroy bosses because the fire stacks. Now, the problem with Mine Lair, like I said, it's really just a clutch tower. But if you only have Ranger, or if you had to choose between Ranger and Mine Lair spam, probably, if you weren't doing early game, probably spam Mine Lairs, because like that, if your friend or friends leak, you can at least be more useful. Operator, just a way better Ranger, so he's going in B tier. Not only is he a better Ranger, you can just have a corner and a ton of bottom path max operators, and if you're lucky, you can solo intermediate with Operator. And with the recent events, he just goes crazy. If you haven't played the Tower Battles event, he's basically the meta. Now, for Cryo Ranger is in C tier. Now, people say Cryo Ranger's a crazy tower, but unfortunately, Cryo Ranger falls off. And that's because it can really only freeze things in easy or elite, and people don't really play elite or easy anymore. It's really just endless, and you're much better bringing other things. And if you have Cryo Ranger and if you want to use it, go ahead, but it's just one of those towers. You just have them. Now, we're not going to be following this list because it was randomized, but we're going to be going to Cryo Blaster. I'm putting this man in A tier. Here's why. You can freeze bosses. This version of a freezing tower is the best I've seen. It can freeze bosses. It can freeze mini bosses. And you can just, if you wanted to, you could just spam 30 Cryo Blasters and have one thing do damage, and you win. Especially on impossible maps. If you want to freeze things, the early game at least, you can go top path instead. And honestly, Trial West is a really good tower. Missile Trooper, going in there. Now, he's like the first two towers you're probably gonna get is Operator and Missile Trooper. Because Operator is like that DPS tower. Now, Missile Trooper, you can ignore bullet resistance as far as I know. And the thing with Missile Trooper is he's your first splash damage tower besides Mine Layer. And you could just spam Missile Troopers top path and you're fine. So he is a really good tower to have. Patrol boats. Going in DT. Patrol boat, I don't know why whenever I play with someone they're like, oh, a boat tower, I should buy it. Just don't. Patrol boat, it just falls off. You're much better saving up for Jug at that point. He's really, if you have him, use him. If there's a specific strat to use him, go ahead. But he's not that versatile in every game. Farm, B tier. Now before you kill me, farm is overrated in this game. I think this is one of the worst games I've seen farm be in. Because he's expensive, right? He's not only expensive, but like if you really want, it's half the time if you farm, you die. That's the main problem. I'm playing with my friend. We both farm, we die. One of us farm, we die. But when we don't farm, we live. And that's because farm's cost efficiency is really bad. Now in Endless, he's great. But the thing is, by wave 40, after wave 40, farm becomes absolutely garbage. Because Eradicator Mark EONC kills him. Apex Predator kills him, Calamity's gonna kill him, everything's gonna kill farm. So, where are you using him? Easy, you can't get max farms by wave 25 or 4, I think. In intermediate is like you can use him if you want to try him out, but you have to farm the entire game. That's the problem. And then for elite mode, again, there's less waves than intermediate, so there's not enough waves. So the only games you can farm in is expert and endless. Now I've seen people, like, funnily enough, the guy named Elite, this YouTuber named Elite, he farms in all these game modes. I don't know how, but he's just him. Those people are him. But from a casual player, farm is overrated. Now, yes, I use farm, but that's because you kind of have to sometimes. If you're playing with 4 people, you kind of have to farm. But that's denied because they have a solid early game. And even then, I can only get 10 2-2 farms. And some people are debating whether you even go 2-2. So, farm has a issue there. It needs to be rebalanced. Now we got Barax. Barax S tier. Barax is that just spammable tower that you have and will carry you for your entire life. Barax is correct. All the people I play with and they want advice from me, I tell them to get Barax. They get Barax and then they spam operators. Like I said, they spam operators and then they spam Humvees. So Barax is a solid S tier tower, but it does get overshined, unfortunately. But Barax is crazy. Grenader is going in A tier. So Grenader is that cheap early game tower to have. He has splash damage with Missile Trooper, and he has that usefulness of Operator. He's crazy, and in maps like Danger Beach, he could see over that fence, that gosh darn fence, that is in the perfect spot for even towers like Shotgunner can't even see over that. which is why Grenader is going in A tier. He's even useful, he's very useful in Endless as well, for the stun grenades on the bottom path. Now, EDJ, I'm putting it in S tier, above Barax. It is not the best tower in the game, because it's not like you're gonna use, you don't really need EDJ, but you're gonna bring EDJ every time. It's one of those things that you don't need, but you kind of need if you want to win. And the music goes crazy. You can use EDJ in every mode, so that's why it's going in S tier. And it doesn't fall off like Barax, but the thing with Barax is it can be used in every mode still and do well. But EDJ will never fall off. And that's the reason why she's the best. As in, the best in S tier. Now we got John. John, once again, going in S tier, above Barax. Now, John is a crazy support tower and a crazy early game tower. The only reason why he's not the best is because he doesn't get hidden until those max levels. So, crazy tower must have, but he's not him, even though he's the owner. So now we got Laser Gunner. I'm putting him in C tier. Now, Jed, why'd you put Laser Gunner, the level 35 tower, in C tier? He's useless. He went from the best tower to the worst tower in the series of 2 updates, basically. He's useless. If you see someone using Laser Gunner, tell them to swap towers. I have not used this man since the beginning days of when Expert was almost impossible. So, Laser Gunner, just don't use him. But he's better. He's better than Ranger and Cryo Ranger, I'll give him that. But I think you're better off using operators than Laser Gunners. Hate me if you want. Toxicnator, solid A tier. Now, again, he has a problem of not having hidden, and he did get nerfed, so where he can't hit infinite things. But he got that bottom path ability where he can damage things by a lot, which is nice. And he can make it so you do 30% more damage to things or 15% to bosses. So he's very nice, and he's a decent crowd control tower. Now we got Artillery. He's going in A tier. Reason why he's not in S is because you have to manually control Artillery. If everyone knew how to micro Artillery, I think he would be one of the best towers. But when you have something more reliable, like Missile Trooper, he falls off. No, but Artillery still a very good tower, nonetheless. Now we got Juggernaut. Juggernaut is also an A tier. He's that tower. He's the minigunner. You use him, he's great. Use him all the modes. He's him. He's the main character. Now, why is he not an S? Well, that's because of the Golden Juggernaut. He's just better. The only reason why Golden Jug is not the best is because, one, he's very expensive, and in the recent Tower Battles event, Jug is better because of those laser resistant hittens. Now, Jug may have more cost efficiency than Golden Jug, but still, Golden Jug never fails to just win. Now, we got Armored Factory. So he's going in S tier. Why? Because Armored Factory single-handedly is just an upgraded, evolved, better Barax. And if they're used together, you have an unstoppable, killable machine. And they're just overall great towers. And Armor Factory can be used in every mode, no problem with him. Railgunner, going in B tier. Now, you may be like, Chad, Railgunner, really? Railgunner's overrated, just like Farm. He was amazing, but then he got outshined by a ton. Now, if you want to use him, go ahead, but with the other things you could have, he just falls off. Now, next up, we got the myth, the legend, Golden Ranger. Golden Ranger is the best early game tower. He gets hidden really early on. He got great damage, and he got great cost efficiency. He's just a way better ranger and a way better operator. Now, he does fall off when it comes to those laser resistant enemies, but it's fine, just because in every other mode he's like your early game tower to use. Next up, we got Slammer. Now, I don't care what anyone says, Slammer's going in A tier. She's not an S tier tower. Her Grand Slam ability is so annoying to spam, and if you're not a master at Slammer, then you're cooked. So she's not that reliable, but I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. If I'm gonna be honest, she's a C tier tower, but A tier is giving her the benefit of the doubt. Now, we got Golden Mine Layer. I haven't used him, but from seeing how he is, I'm putting him in B tier. Actually, no, A tier. Because he's a better mine layer, but the cost efficiency is the problem. So I only see him being used in modes like Endless or Expert. So that's the problem with Golden Mine Layer. Now we got Ghost. Ghost is a new tower, but unfortunately, I'm gonna be putting her in B tier. She's a great tower, and she can target those gosh darn elite grenaders. But she's just another one of those towers that you have. But unlike Patrol Boat, can be used in more situations. Now we have Medic. F tier. Medic is probably the worst tower in the game because it was so hyped, but it does really nothing. Now, yeah, it keeps your golden jugs alive, but in the endless games I do, I only use XWM turret. Speaking of XWM turret, we're going to be putting her in S tier, above the golden jug, because she really cannot die. The rebuilding feature on her is broken, and she was designed for endless. That's why she's not the best, because she was straight up designed for endless. Now, the best tower in the game, Warship, can be used in all the modes. Very expensive, but the moment you get bro down, he is amazing. He's basically almost mandatory in Expert and Endless. He got that D hidden ability. Just everything you could want, Warship has. The only problem is that hidden, but it doesn't matter when you could D hidden with the bottom pick. Now, he's very expensive, but he's him. He is the main character. More main characterly than Jug. So, if you want a tower that's like reliable and you want to use, Warship is your main tower. Now, for the last two towers, I saved them for last because they're the event towers. Commander, solid S tier. We got that damage buff, we got the striker ability, and we got the US Air Force. What else could you need? Zed, I'm so disappointed in Zed. Zed is B. Not at C tier, but B tier, because at max he's great. Every other level is a disgrace to humanity. I kid you not, Zed is a disgrace to humanity. Now I'm gonna re-explain all these towers. So, starting with the towers that need to be rung up again. Worship, like I said, great tower. Only problem is he's really expensive, but you can just forge through it, and you don't need farms. Farms just need to rebalance their cost efficiency. That's the only problem I have with farm. If I'm not able to get max farms in intermediate by the time the waves get hefty, then there's a problem with farms. Laser gunner needs to be rebalanced and reworked. Medic, really the only thing with medic, doesn't attack and your towers are gonna die anyway, so like doesn't really matter to bring medic. And the bottom path was so overhyped. You can only place 6 medics, so that's 6 golden jugs, if you even have golden jugs, with 3 times attack. You're not gonna use medic, and that's my TDX, only in TDX, the TDX tier list. And yeah, thanks for watching.